Hey, it's Jen Gibbs here with Utah Shores Real Estate Services, and I wanted to take you through today the buyer broker agreement. This is the standard state of Utah contract for affiliating a realtor with a buyer, and so I want it to be very comfortable and familiar with you and easy for you to sign, whether we're doing it in person or if we're communicating through Loop. So I'm going to go through step by step, kind of translate it into English and explain what it means, and so here we go.
Okay, so here we are, and the top of our exclusive buyer broker agreement and agency disclosure, which is just the legalese for picking a realtor in the state of Utah. So we'll go through. I want you to look for an attached PDF file associated with where you found this video. In case the resolution isn't fantastic, I want to make sure you're able to read the verbiage since we won't go through it word by word, but I do want you to be able to have that available to look over. So look for an attached PDF that you can download or take a look at. Okay, so this is exclusive buyer broker agreement and agency disclosure. So exclusive means as we begin to work together as realtor and home buyer, that we're going to be your realtor of choice and we're going to do all the footwork for you. And instead of having two or three agents looking around for different areas or neighborhoods, we actually are going to become the one-stop shop for you. So if you see any sign call or any sign in a yard that you have questions on, or you see something online, send everything our way and we will facilitate all the question and answering, any scheduling of tours, all that kind of stuff. We're going to be your exclusive agent in the state of Utah to look out for your best interest and kind of know your story. And so you'll want to work directly with us and not with anyone else, is what that means. Buyer broker agreement. So technically, home buyers work with real estate brokers, and we have a fantastic broker here at our Keller Williams office, and he has agents that help him. But the agreement is technically between the buyer and the broker, and we are agents. Myself, Jennifer Gibbs, I'm an agent of the broker. So that's why it's the buyer broker agreement instead of a buyer agent agreement. And this is just saying, hey, we're going to disclose that this particular agent, again, myself in this case, is going to be the one that's working on behalf of this broker. So hopefully clear as mud there. And it is a contract. And so if you ever have any questions on contracts, we'll go through this as part of the agreement, but you'll always want to consult a professional if you have an attorney or anything like that, if you feel like you need to do that. We do recommend professionals. It's pretty straightforward. This is the same contract that every realtor uses in Utah. So this agreement is between KW Westfield, Keller Williams Real Estate, which in a paper document instead of a screen share that will print all out. So that's the company, and Joe Nice Guy, which is going to be your name or the buyer's name. The term of the agreement here is section 1. It says you're going to use myself, Jennifer Gibbs, thank you very much, as your buyer's agent authorized to work on behalf of the company, which is again Keller Williams Westfield. And we're going to work together through the 31st day of December 31st, 2018. So typically we go, 9 months, a year, whatever. We talk about your timeframes individually and how long you want to be searching for a home and that kind of thing. But typically we do 12 to 15 months, just depending on what your needs are. And then we're able to go ahead and negotiate for you on any county, any property in Utah. If we, for instance, we're just working together on one property, we could put that property there. But if you're doing a home search, for an area, and you don't have just one specific property in mind, then we can work together on anything that way. Brokerage fee. So this explains how we get paid. We have to account for feeding our families and all that good stuff, and so professional fees. But don't worry, because in general, these are not paid by yourself, the buyer. It's typically negotiated with a home seller to cover that fee for the real estate agent. So for anything listed on the MLS, that 3% or something close to it is going to be negotiated on your behalf already, and the MLS will explain what that is. If there's a difference, we can talk about how to handle that. And then the $295 would come out of closing costs. It's an administrative fee that assists in the processing of the transaction and that kind of thing. protection period. So this just talks about, let's say we work together and we look at properties for 6 months, and then we don't do any offering, but then, a couple months later, maybe we haven't worked together, and you go back to one of the properties that we have looked at together. It says for within 3 months, that we're going to still be considered as an agent and buyer together in a relationship until this expires. Just to kind of cover all the loose ends there. Number 4, buyer representation and disclosures. It's just saying that you as a buyer have not signed another buyer broker with anyone else. We don't want to step on anyone's toes or do any gray areas. We always respect agency relationships that are already in place. And so it's just saying that, hey, you're not already obligated. You're able to enter this agreement. And so we can serve you best. Agency relationships. So this talks about, as your buyer's agent, if you're working with myself or someone on the team, whoever is designated to be your agent has an actual legal fiduciary duty to watch out and protect your best interest. They cannot be loyal to anyone else in the transaction unless they have another party, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Basically, they're your advocate. They're looking out for your angle, almost as if they were one of you. If we're together, team buyer, and we're not playing favorites with anyone else. It's our duty to only look out for you, and that's so great because we can sometimes spot, issues or advantages, that you may not have considered, and we love to do that on your behalf. In the only incident that we wouldn't be 100% loyal to only your interests is in the instance of a limited agent. And so basically what that says is, for example, I'm the listing specialist on the team, and if I have a listing, then I represent the seller much the same way, right, as your buyer's agent will represent you. So I have 100% faithful loyalty to my seller. If you as a buyer come along and love my seller's listing, then who do I be loyal to, right? That it's a little bit of an awkward situation. So here on the team, we're able to prevent any sharing of loyalties by, we have one agent assigned on the team to represent you, the buyer. Someone else would represent the listing, and we make sure you have an advocate either way. But because we represent our broker, if there's another person within the brokerage that has a listing, then we would disclose to you, hey, we're technically a limited agent, and then it's going to be a neutral situation. But you would always have your own individual agent. Hopefully that makes sense to you, clear as mud. So when you work with our team, we'll always have someone separate representing a seller that does not represent you. So you've always got 100% loyalty. That's the point. If you have any questions, please do reach out. We'll explain that. Professional advice. This just says, hey, we are not attorneys or accountants. We're not inspectors. So if you need any of these professional services, we do encourage you in writing officially to go ahead and hire those trained professionals. We are the real estate professionals and we are excellent at what we do, but we're not excellent at vouching for a property's condition or anything like that. So do go ahead and consult a professional in that light. Dispute resolution. This just says if we get angry with each other, these are the rules. We're going to go ahead and talk about this is how we would resolve it, and it would be in the state of Utah. Buyer authorizations. So there's information that we provide to the MLS to kind of keep tabs on the market data, and this just says that's okay. We can go ahead and continue communicating those things about your transaction. This would say that you are or are not including additional terms in an addendum. Normally, we just go right ahead and go forward. If there is special situations we want to address, we would go ahead and include an addendum. And this equal housing opportunity, it just says that regardless of your race or ethnicity or any protected status, that we will show you any home in any neighborhood, regardless of what the ethnic neighborhood makeup is, or there'll be no discriminating in any part of the transaction. Number 12, electronic transmission and counterparts. So basically, we're very, very digitally focused and work with a lot of clients that are moving at a fast pace, and that's kind of today's world. And so we do a lot of signatures by email through a program called Loop. And so basically, you'll receive emails of contracts with your signature pre-prepared, and you can just click through and sign. And this just says that, hey, we don't have to sign anything going forward in English or excuse me, in ink, we just are going to go ahead and accept that any clicked through contract is going to be valid. Due on sale. So this just explains that when you have a mortgage and you sell a property, you are responsible to pay off the mortgage. And there's some other details associated with changing over properties. So entire agreement just means that we haven't done anything on a handshake or agreed to anything that's not in writing. And effective date just means this is the date we're entering this contract.
So that's it, really pretty simple. And so if you have questions, as you may well, with some of the jargon or the way I've explained something, please do reach out to myself or a member of our Utah Shores team. We're here to help you. And like I said, continue to translate all this into English for you. So reach out by email or text or phone, however we communicate best. And we want to just make sure all your questions are answered so you can go ahead and we can get that started and help you find just the right home here in Utah. Thanks for trusting us to help you with your real estate needs, and we'll be in touch soon.